JVP leader Anrukumara Dissanayake appears at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing political victimization of public sector officials. Sri Lanka Navy reopens the Valisara Naval Camp. 47,430 postal vote applications for upcoming general election rejected. Foreign nationals not allowed to perform the Hajj pilgrimage this year.
Hello there and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. You're joining me, Devi Paldano. Now let's take a look at some local news. JVP leader Anrukumara Dissanayake appeared at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing political victimization of public sector officials. According to our correspondent, former MPs Arjuna Ranatunga and Dr. Rajitha Senaratne also appeared before the commission to provide evidence.
A spokesperson at the commission said that former MPs were summoned before the Presidential Commission at 11:30 this morning. They were summoned before the commission to provide evidence to the investigation launched by the commission following a complaint lodged by Nisanka Senadipati citing that losses were incurred when the avant-garde was taken over in an arbitrary manner. 17 parties including Anrukumara Dissanayake, Arjuna Ranatunga and Dr. Rajitha Senaratne were named as respondents in the case. Former Director General of Bribery Commission Dilrukshi Dias and former Additional Solicitor General Vasantha Navaratna Bandara were also named as respondents.
Attorney General Dappala de Oliveira said yesterday that Nisanka Senadipati, the chairman of Avantgarde, has no legal standing to file a complaint with the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing incidences of political victimization of public sector employees.
Attorney General Dappala de Oliveira said the Commission of Inquiry probing incidences of political victimization was appointed to look into alleged political victimization of public officers, employees of state corporation, members of armed forces and the police. The Attorney General objected to summons and notice being issued on Senior State Counsel Janaka Bandara to appear at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Senior State Counsel Janaka Bandara was named as a respondent in the complaint lodged by Avantgarde Chairman Nisanka Yapa Senadipati with the Presidential Commission of Inquiry against Avantgarde High Seas Arms Trafficking case. The Attorney General had filed indictments in the Avantgarde arms trafficking case against Avantgarde Chairman Nisanka Senadipati and several others last September with the Colombo Permanent High Court trial at bar. Among the charges filed against the accused last year were illegally operating merchant vessel ship MV Avantgarde carrying a stock of firearms and explosives including 816 unlicensed automatic firearms and 202,935 rounds of ammunition off the seas of Gaul.
Meanwhile, the Valisara Naval Camp has been reopened.
Naval spokesperson Lieutenant Commander Isuru Surya Bandara said that the camp will reopen in a few stages. He further stated that 786 sailors among 898 have fully recovered from the virus.
The Navy commander has taken the decision to start operations in the Valisara Navy camp. We have received the necessary health guidelines and permission to do so. The Navy expects to restart operations gradually under a few stages. As the basic stage of this process, the essential activities of the camp began today. A total of 786 sailors out of 898 have been fully recovered and discharged.
Now taking a look at one of the headline-making stories, the National Elections Commission said that 47,430 postal vote applications for the general election have been rejected.
The NEC stated that 753,037 postal vote applications for the general election have been received. Of that, 750,085 postal vote applicants are eligible to cast their votes. The highest number of postal voters are from the Kurunegala district, which is 74,611. The second highest number of postal voters is from the Anuradhapura district, which is 56,438. The third highest number of postal voters in the Gampha district with 54,098.
Meanwhile, a trial counting process was held in Gaul today.
The trial was held under the supervision of the Gaul District Returning Officer Somaratna Vidhanapatirana and Deputy Elections Commissioner K.V. Chandralal. It was organized to understand how to count votes while following the proper health guidelines. Officers attached to the Elections Commissioner's office in Kalutara, Gaul and Matra also attended the event.
With the participation of representatives and the staff, we organized this to understand whether a polling station can be operated through the combination of all methods, to understand how much time it will take, how many should be deployed at a polling station. We hope to maintain social distancing after considering the situation that could emerge when there is a lack of voters and to reduce the cost.
Now here are some of the views expressed in the political arena.
2020.
This has turned out to be a government that couldn't look after its people during the past 8 months. They haven't been able to provide relief to people. It's time to change the government. They called Mahinda Rajapaksa a thief, but 42 days after that government got into power, the biggest theft happened. The central bank was robbed in broad daylight. We questioned them in parliament. What did they say? They said that Mangala is on his way back to Sri Lanka after attending a wedding. Now they are looking for Arjuna Mahendran. He has changed his name too. Corrupt officials cannot build this country. We cannot build with people in the bribery commission accused of corruption. We need officials for this.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නියෝජනය කරන්න හදන්නේ ජනතාවට එරෙහි වෙන චෝදනා නිෂේධනය කරන පාර්ලිමේන්තුව.
The government has now fallen into a desperate state after failing to keep the promises they made to the people during the 8 months they were in power. We say with utmost confidence that there is a racket going on inside the government when the taxes suddenly increase and decrease.
හැම බදු වැඩි කිරීමක් තුලම මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ ජාවාරමක් තියෙනවා. ඒක අපි බය නැතුව කියනවා.
The recognition the government had when they came into power has now reduced. The people are disappointed with the government. The public sector workers are extremely disappointed. Amidst this situation, the National People's Power is gaining a solid ground. People now understand that the cost of living is high. It is difficult to survive. Dal, salmon, sugar and rice are expensive.
නෑනේ අද 180යි පරිදි අද සීනි 140යි 90ට හාල් තියෙනවද අද මිනිස්සුන්ගේ බඩට දැනෙනවා මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ ගෙනියන වැඩපිළිවෙල නිසා මිනිස්සුන්ට අද කෑමට අමාරු තත්ත්වයක් උදා වෙලා තියෙනවා
2020.
Leader of the Samaki Jana Balawegaya Sajid Premadasa attended a few meetings in Colombo yesterday.
A public gathering was held in Borella under the auspices of the leader of the Samaki Jana Balawegaya, Sajid Premadasa.
Are the people better off with a change in government? Did the people get the service they needed? The leaders of the community are under the impression that the fallen economy can be revived with a 5,000 rupee allowance.
ආර්ථිකයේ කඩාවැටුණු ජන ජීවිතයක් ගත කරන අපේ රටේ සාමාන්‍ය ජනතාවට රුපියල් 5000ක් දීලා පිරිමහන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
Another meeting was held in Halduwatta, Vanathamulla.
ආසනේ බාරගෙන
Thereafter, he attended 2 other Samaki Jana Balawegaya rallies in Dematagoda and Maradana.
A commemoration ceremony was held in Gaul this morning to mark the 96th birthday of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa.
The ceremony was held close to Premadasa Monument in Koskoda, Balapitiya. The event was organised by Southern Provincial Councillor Ashoka Dhanavangsha.
Lanka's April trade deficit widened to 840 million US dollars from 797 million US dollars in April of 2019 as the decline in exports exceeded the decline in imports as the economic activities have been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
On a cumulative basis, the trade deficit widened to 2,693 million US dollars during the first 4 months of 2020 from 2,458 million US dollars in the corresponding period of 2019. Yesterday, the central bank said, quote, Sri Lanka's external sector performance in April of 2020 was severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic-related economic interruptions. The imposition of a partial lockdown had a significant impact on Sri Lanka's merchandise exports sector while shutting down the tourism industry in April of 2020, end quote. The expenditure on merchandise imports also declined, with disruptions to import-related supply chains and restrictions imposed on non-essential imports by the government and the central bank. With some migrant workers returning to the country prior to the lockdown and reduced compensation and redundancies faced by some migrant workers abroad, a significant decline was recorded in workers' remittance during the month. The central bank also said in the financial account, a net foreign investment outflow was recorded in the government securities market, while the Colombo Stock Exchange remained closed throughout April of 2020. With increased uncertainties and lack of inflows to the domestic foreign exchange market, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated significantly against the US dollar during the first half of April 2020. However, the rupee began to stabilize gradually since the second half of the month was improving market sentiments. Subsequent appreciation of the exchange rate helped in limiting the depreciation to less than 3% so far during the year.
The acceptance of the suggestions and complaints by the three-person committee appointed to probe irregularities and illegal practices of finance and leasing companies will begin on Tuesday, the 30th of June. According to the three-person committee, this opportunity has been given to both the public and the finance companies.
Accordingly, suggestions and complaints can be lodged through email, which is dlcd@cbsl.lk and dsnbfi@cbsl.lk, and can be mailed through the Director, Non-Bank Financial Monitoring Department, Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Colombo 1. The committee further stated that strict measures will be taken against leasing companies operating without registration in the central bank. The committee stated that it has begun gathering the necessary information. In addition, the committee appointed by the central bank states that under the leasing scheme, the property should not be forcibly taken from a person who has obtained the property on lease. The committee says it is a grave mistake to force the acquisition of the property and that it will take steps to inform all leasing finance companies of the appropriate rules on which they can be acquired. The committee was appointed to investigate and report irregularities and illegal activities of finance companies and leasing companies. It was appointed by Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman. The committee is headed by the Director General of the President's Council, Hari Gutta Rohanadira, and the Legal Director of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, J.R. Jayawardena. Managing Director, Non-Banking Finance Companies Gamlat is the other member.
A suspect was arrested in Kirindiwala area with 2 firearms in his possession.
Police Special Task Force stated that the suspect has been earlier charged for illegal gem mining and murder. The suspect was identified as a close associate of an organized criminal named Sitawaka Podda. The father of the suspect had also been remanded a year ago for murder. The STF stated that the arrested suspect has been handed over to the Kirindiwala police for further investigations.
Now on to your local COVID-19 update. The number of COVID-19 cases in the country has risen to 1,951. One COVID-19 patient was identified yesterday. The Department of Government Information stated that the identified COVID-19 patient was a returnee from Maldives. Meanwhile, 28 COVID-19 patients have recovered and have been discharged. The total number of recoveries stand at 1,526. The Ministry of Health stated that 414 COVID-19 patients are currently receiving treatment. Well, that is the wrap-up lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm David Palda. Take care.